Head coach Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers are on to the semifinals, and they have a matchup with the Carolina Hurricanes, who look to prove a very difficult opponent. They're going to need Bobrovsky to keep stepping up between the pipes, and they're going to need that third line to keep working magic on the ice. And where's Matthew Tkachuk? He has pretty much been a non-factor ever since their first round series against Tampa Bay. We're going to go and have a discussion about what the Panthers are going to need to do against the Carolina Hurricanes to pull out a semifinals victory and move on to defending the Stanley Cup in the finals. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. There is a lot to get to, but first, before we get into that, hit that subscribe button down below so that way you stay in the know with anything and everything that has to do with your defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Guys, there's so much to get to. Last night's game, I hate to say it, Leafs fans, it was just total domination by the Cats. They didn't give Toronto any breathing room. It was suffocating on defense. Their offense stepped up big, and we'll get into some of the stats pretty quickly before we get into their matchup with the Carolina Hurricanes in the semifinals, which start tomorrow night, guys. Wow. Big time game from the Cats. They really stepped it up in game 7. I mean, what a turnaround from a lackadaisical performance in game number 6. We're just going to get right into this. So first off, sorry, Leafs fans, Marchand again looks like he has just shut the door on you guys. He is 5-0 in game 7s against Toronto. Sorry. 2013 he beat you, 2018, 2019, 2024, and now 2025. 4 of those with the Bruins, and obviously this year with the Florida Panthers. He has just been nothing short of a thorn in your side. And I really hate to say it, it has been tough pickings for you guys every time you were in the playoffs and look like they couldn't make it to the next round. But the Panthers shut the door, like I said. They showed that championship pedigree, and man, did they play lights out last night. That defense was great. They were out shooting the Toronto Maple Leafs an incredible, 70-33 after just 2 periods. That's shot attempts. That's an astounding number if you really want to think about it. So the other thing that was amazing about Marchand is he had 3 points. He had 1 goal, which is the empty netter, and 2 assists. His line was spectacular as well. A goal and 2 assists. Pretty much they had, what was that? That's 3, 6, I think it was 7 points on that line last night. That third line with Lundell and Lustranen. My goodness. They have just been nothing short of incredible last series as well as this past series against Toronto. Just incredible play. And I hate to say it, Wall looked awesome to start the game. He was blocking a lot of shots, but it seems every time that there's a goal that gets by him, it's just kind of the snowball effect, and the Panthers are just able to find a way to fire the puck at the net, and they just keep getting by Wall. I'm not going to get into too much of the statistical analysis here, but we're going to go through it pretty quickly right now. But yeah, it just looked like once a goal got past Wall, they just kept on coming, guys. So let's just get right into this. There you go. 6-1 last night, guys. Dominant performance by the Panthers, who advance into their 3rd straight Eastern Conference final. Big matchup, which we'll get into in just a second. So last night, I've said this before in other episodes, the Panthers need to do a better job in the face-off circle, and they did it last night. Almost a 50-50 split. And that was going to be the thing that was going to drive them to a big win last night, and it did, in the offensive zone, especially with the Reinhart goal that was right off of a faceoff, literally about a second or two after they won it. Reinhart threw it at the net, put it right over that stick side shoulder and right into the corner of the net, I believe it was the stick side shoulder, and just made it look easy. I mean, they needed that. They needed to play like that in order to win, but look at the block shots there in terms of the Maple Leafs. They were blocking tons of shots in the beginning of that game in that first period. I thought it was going to be a very close one, but Panthers just started running away with it in that second period. And then the big time takeaways by the Panthers, 7 of them, only 3 for the Maple Leafs. So it was a pretty dominant performance by the Panthers all around. So again, here's that third line. 7 points. That's right in the middle there. And the 2 is because that's the second line right there with Bennett, Tkachuk and Verhaeghe, who didn't really do much. The reason why I wanted to throw that out there for you guys is because they really haven't been a major factor. I mean, Bennett has at times. He's been throwing the puck at the net and scoring. Verhaeghe a little bit here and there, but the consistent line has been that third line. They've been scoring almost at will against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And let's hope they can keep that up heading into the semifinals against a very talented Carolina Hurricanes team who was on fire against an ultra talented Washington Capitals team, and the best goal scorer of all time in Alex Ovechkin in NHL history. And it just, I mean, a 4-1 in that series. So I'm not going to say I'm intimidated by it, not in the least. I just think the Carolina Hurricanes were rolling at the right time. They found a way to win those games pretty handily because of their great defense, because they do have goal scorers. But it wasn't this ultra lopsided thing, if you want to talk about it in terms of the matchup, which we'll get into when we go back and look at their series against the Washington Capitals, guys. So we're going to keep moving forward here, and you can see there, Seth Jones last night was spectacular too. A goal and assist, plus minus at 2. He was awesome. On defense, he was great, throwing the puck at the net. He was doing it all last night. What a spectacular performance by him on defense. So Toronto Maple Leafs, absolutely, we shut them down last night. Just look at those numbers. Marner, Matthews, Nylander, nobody did anything last night. Didn't do anything. Shut them out. And the whole series, except for the first couple games, was like that. Sorry, Leafs fans. The Panthers, like I said, showed that championship pedigree. They're not a stranger to a game 7, and they showed it last night. They came in confident right out of the gates. It was all Panthers, and they didn't even blink an eye at Toronto yesterday in terms of letting them get a hold of anything. There were a couple of odd man rushes, breakaways, and Bob stepped up big, but I just think it was, the Panthers' effort was just way too strong, way too much energy, and man, did they manhandle the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. So, as we're looking forward, Florida Panthers 2024-2025 regular season numbers against the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't want to dive too much into these numbers because there were changes on this roster. Remember, we've got Marchand, Seth Jones, Nico Sturm. Things have changed. The lines have changed. So I don't really want to get too deep into these numbers, but you can see here in the series, the Panthers won 2-1 out of the 3-game series. They outscored Carolina 13-6. And I'm going to go through these numbers in just a second in terms of a game-by-game analysis. All right? 2 of those games, Bobrovsky was the goalie. The other game was Knight. And he's no longer a Panther. So, I just want you to pay attention to something really quick. Look at the Carolina Hurricanes postseason numbers against the Washington Capitals. Now, think of it like this. They only played 5 games. The Panthers played 7. So the numbers are very different if you're going to compare, the Panther series against Toronto and the Carolina series against Washington. You can't, because more games, more time, more goals, more assists, so on and so forth, more hits, all of that. The numbers will be a little skewed, so I don't want to spend too much time discussing it. But take a look here. There's scores. I put marks on the guys that I'm going to go through a little bit later in this episode and their regular season numbers. But look at that shooting percentage right there. So for Svechnikov, 23%, 3 goals. That's a pretty good shooting percentage for a guy, for one of their forwards. And we'll go over again. We'll go over more of this stuff as we move forward, but I don't want to look at these numbers too much in depth because they're going to be skewed. 5 games, they made it look easy. Yeah, I think the Capitals kind of got found out by a hungrier Hurricanes team that wasn't caught up in all the hoopla of the Ovechkin scoring record and all that stuff. And I think the Washington Capitals got caught up in that in the end of the season, and it kind of gassed them out a little bit. And the first round series that they had, I mean, I don't want to get into too much because this is Panthers Digest. This isn't Capitals Digest. This isn't Carolina Hurricanes Digest. All right. So let's keep moving forward here. So Bobrovsky regular season numbers against the Carolina Hurricanes: 2.5 goals against average, a 929 save percentage, really strong numbers in the regular season. Great numbers, in fact. And he was spectacular at the end of these last 3-4 games of this series against Toronto. He really stepped up. The first 2 games was a little shaky. Even the third one, he let a lot of goals go by. He game number 6, the shot from Matthews. It was just like he just had a lapse of judgment, I guess, because that puck literally found that 5-hole so easily, and it wasn't even going that fast. So he's had moments. I mean, he's not the greatest goaltender in the history of the earth. He's a solid player. He's going to let some things go by sometimes, but you can't hold it against him. He's been playing lights out, and he's going to keep playing lights out. I think he's starting to do what he does in the playoffs, which he did last year, which is get better every series. And he's going to continue doing that, like I just said. So this is Anderson's numbers in his series against the Washington Capitals. 1.19 goals against and a .937 save percentage. He only let 6 goals in on 95 shots. That's insane. That's a lot of shots to face in just 5 games too. But I really think he's finding his stride, but the Panthers team has such higher firepower, especially with the chemistry that is now starting to gel. These guys are starting to come together and really take on this whole new team mentality. I said this in the last episode. These guys are not playing as individuals. They're playing the team effort. Find the open man, pass the puck, find the higher danger shots that are more likely to find the back of the net. Get the goalie to move side to side, have him make a mistake, have the defenders make mistakes as well. And the Panthers are doing that, and I think they will continue to do that in this series. That starts tomorrow night because I think they're a more cerebral team. I think the hockey IQ is better for the Panthers, especially because of all of the postseason experience this team has. The champions that are on there, the guys they brought in that are hungry. You know, Marchand is a champion. Seth Jones isn't yet, but man, he's hungry. But we're going to get into a couple of other things in just a second here. So these are the lines that we have to match up with, and they are strong. The Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis line is a scary one. Really scary one. And there's our friend Jordan Stahl on there that everybody knows all so well. And here's their defensive pairings. Brent Burns, Jacob Slavin, Dmitry Orlov. I mean, these guys are all very formidable defenders. They're big, they're fast, they'll throw the body, and we're going to get into some of the numbers here in terms of what they were doing in their last series in terms of throwing the body around, because man, they did a lot of that. A lot of that, guys. So, I'm going to talk about these numbers right now. So, in the regular season, though, the Carolina Hurricanes and Florida matchup, it went more in Florida's way. Like I said, 13 goals for Florida, 6 for the Carolina Hurricanes. And it wasn't as physical as people would think. That's why I don't want to get into too many of those numbers, because the playoffs now has shown a lot more physicality in every single series. The Carolina Hurricanes series, I don't even need to get into the Toronto series. It was ultra physical for the Panthers. They had 40 plus hits, I think, in just about every single game. And it was getting nasty out there, guys. It got very nasty. And I think this series is going to be more of the same, because Carolina plays like that big physical style of play, throwing the bodies around, big time forechecking, aggressive, especially in the neutral zone. You know, they will live off of those turnovers and try to throw them in the back of the net with odd man rushes too. They do the same, a very similar style of hockey that Toronto will do. And I think the Panthers D, though, has just been so strong, they're going to be able to shut down the offense of the Carolina Hurricanes. But they have to come out and play like they did in games 5 and games 7 in the last series. Come out, no holds barred. You just got to take it to them and hit them in the mouth right away. Get physical, get fast, forecheck, be aggressive, but not overly aggressive, because you don't want to be turning that puck over in bad spots and have an odd man rush or breakaway. So, team stat-wise for the Carolina Hurricanes against Washington, they were pretty much averaging, except for one game, which was game number 2, which is weird because they only had 17 hits in that game, which I think those numbers might be off. But all the other games, they were averaging around 44 hits a game. 44 game 1, 17 game 2, 47, 37, and 46. That's a lot of physicality right there, guys. A lot. Power play was all right. Face-off percentage, Carolina does a great job of winning those face-offs. They were around about a little over 52% in that series. 55 game 1, 50, 50, 40, and then 64. So I think it's around 55% for the series. So we're facing another foe again who is dominant in the face-off circle. And we're going to have to hope that the Panthers are able to win a lot of those face-offs, especially in their offensive end, and make sure that they can start passing that puck around the blue line and start throwing them at the net. I think if they're able to do that in this series, they will pull off victories a lot easier. Just throw them at Anderson. Hopefully they'll squeak by. Hits off a defender, hits off one of our sticks, deflections. That's what we have to look for in this series. Because Carolina doesn't block as many shots as Toronto does. Had we faced Washington, man, they throw the body in front of the puck and they try to block it as much as they can. I mean, they had some incredible numbers for blocked shots. But in that series, the Hurricanes only had, this is game by game from 1 to 5, 9 blocks, then 10, 13, 13, and 24 in that last game. So when needed, they will throw the body in front of the puck and try to block it. Let's see if they'll do that in this series. If they don't, I think the Panthers will run away with this series. But I don't want to speak too soon. The series hasn't even started yet. So, as we're looking at this, like I said, when we're going against a team that is fast, they're young, but they don't have the championship pedigree. There is some playoff experience there, but there's a lot more for the Panthers. I'd say the Panthers have the upper hand. They're the champions. They are going to be hungry to defend their title, and they're looking at it right now. That 7-game series against Toronto, although it was scrappy and it was, hitting each other in the mouth left and right, and there was a lot of controversy and things like that. But I think this next series is going to be as physical. I think it's going to be as controversial at times. But the Panthers just have to stick to what they were doing. Paul Maurice has to stick to his game plan, which has been working. Is see how things are in game 1. Feel it out. Match up your lines. Don't just you start off at line 1 against their line 2 against line 2, so on and so forth. When they're battling. But make the changes when necessary. If you're getting outplayed with that first line because they're not fast enough with the other first line, change it up. Have that second or third line go out there who can keep up and keep pace and defend them better. That's what I think Paul Maurice is going to look into. Maybe he'll have some line changes. We'll see. But I say don't fix what isn't broken. They've had a lot of success with the changes that were made from game number 2 moving on to game number 3, guys. So, on some other notes here, we're going to get into who we're facing. Who are their top guys right now? And here they are. Sebastian Aho. Hey, we know who that guy is. A absolute stud in the regular season. Look at that. 207 shots. 29 goals, 45 assists in 79 games. Takeaways, 23. 59 hits on the season. He kind of blocks shots, but man, he is a very cerebral player. He's very smart. He will throw the puck at the net. He knows how to generate offense. He'll be scrappy in the corners, and he has been a little bit of a thorn in the side for pretty much every team. Pretty much every single team, and he is fun to watch, guys. We really got to keep our eye on him, and I think they have to really shut him down because a lot of offense flows through Aho. And then we have this guy, Seth Jarvis. In 73 games, 32 goals, 35 assists, 67 points, 204 shots. He has been solid for them too. He is another guy who generates great offense. 15, almost 16% on the season for shooting. I mean, guys, this team can be very dangerous, and we have to be careful not to shoot ourselves in the foot. And the last guy on that first line, Andrei Svechnikov. Another awesome guy, big body at 6'3", 20 goals, 28 assists, 180 shots. Man, though, but he throws the body around too. He's not afraid to hit guys. He's not afraid to get scrappy. He'll stand in front of the net and he will screen Bobrovsky all day long. We have to watch out for him. And now, one of the defenders, I want to showcase more guys, but I didn't want to keep this as a 30-minute episode. Jacob Slavin, man. What an awesome defender. He's blocked 136 shots this season. He's a big dude, but not the most physical. Only 21 hits this in the regular season. I'm sure that's different in the playoffs. But he's a physical dude too in terms of his forechecking ability is great. He's a cerebral, smart guy. He's got a pretty wicked shot too. He's not afraid to get in there and try to throw his stick around with some of the best guys there when he's in the corners. This team can be scary. I'm excited to see the series start tomorrow night, even though there's not a lot of rest for the Panthers. But like I said, after they finished up their first round series against Tampa Bay, I think those first two games, having that time off, might have done a little bit more harm than good when they started that series. And then they picked it up, and this, as the series went on, they started to get things together. They started gelling more in, and they did. And I think this series, I think they're going to start off with a bang. I think they're going to try to run away with game one, get home ice advantage. And I'm going to say this series is probably going to go around 6 games. I think they're going to steal one away on the road. Hopefully it'll be game 1. I think they might ride this momentum into this series from that game 7 win, that dominating game 7 win. I think they actually proved to a lot of people they really want to win back-to-back championships, because they didn't come out light yesterday. They really showed that they wanted that game. And I think they're going to do it again tomorrow night. I think they'll come out and look real scary. But again, Carolina's a scary team. They looked really, really good against the Capitals, who were playing great hockey at the end of the regular season and into the playoffs as well. And they just kind of fizzled out in that second round, unfortunately. So a couple of notes before we go. Paul Maurice is 6-0 in game 7s in the playoffs. Nice numbers, right? Awesome. Let's hope it stays that way. Again, 3rd straight Eastern Conference Finals for the Florida Panthers. Can they keep it up? Let's hope they can ride that momentum wave of that 6-1 victory of Game 7 into this first game of the Eastern Conference Finals and come out with a big-time victory that will probably horrify some fans out there that are Carolina Hurricanes fans, as well as some of the Western Conference, because the Panthers are starting to look a little bit scarier. They are starting to get everything together, coaching-wise, on their lines, everything. It is just starting to work. It's just a well-oiled machine now, guys, and they are starting to look scary. And NHL teams should start to get a little bit more of that, I don't know if I want to face these guys, because they are so physical. And again, I think this series is going to be even more physical than the Toronto series. And Panthers swept this series in 2003 in the conference finals. Let's not forget that. 2023, they swept the series. They made it look pretty easy. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, but we'll see. We also don't have home ice advantage. All right? So game 1 tomorrow night, 8 p.m. at Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, guys. This is going to be an exciting Eastern Conference Finals. I can't believe it's already starting in just a little over 24 hours from now. This is going to be a great matchup. Really, guys, get in front of your TVs, hunker down. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining series compared to the last one. I think it might be a little bit below it, but I think it's going to be probably the second most entertaining series of this playoffs. For this year of the playoffs, it's going to be awesome to watch. And I think the Panthers are going to pull away. Like I said, I think it's going to be Panthers in 6. If they win one of these first 2 games, I say Panthers in 6. If they do come away with both, I say Panthers in 5. Because hopefully they can hold home ice advantage and get those 2 games at home and not split. But I don't want to say anything yet. Game 1 is tomorrow night. So guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Comment, like, share. Thank you guys for supporting me. And I'll get another video out probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, will definitely be on Wednesday. So get your popcorn ready, get your beers out there, get ready to hunker down for a fantastic series against the Carolina Hurricanes. This is going to be a good one, guys. Eastern Conference Finals. Can we make it to the finals and defend the Stanley Cup and maybe be back-to-back champions? Let's see, guys. So anyways, enjoy the game tomorrow night. Go Cats. And don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share. See you guys next time.